If you speak to any visitor to our country, it is not just the palpable friendliness and hospitality displayed by South Africans which they talk of. Without fail, they are awestruck by the sheer beauty of the land, a beauty unlike any other on the planet. It's the first thing they talk of when they get back home, and it's the very thing which draws them back to our shores time after time. A great South African, the author Alan Paton, had it absolutely right when he wrote, "Ah, but your land is beautiful." It's when this abundant and endlessly varied botanical heritage is placed in the hands of those gifted with rare skill, patience, and vision that the magnificent becomes the truly astounding, that the land truly moves the soul. Join me now as I take you to the most beautiful gardens in the world, as we meet the very special people who love them and nurture them. I'm Keith Kirsten. Welcome to The Growing Country. If you walk through Stellenbosch's oak-lined streets, you'd be forgiven for not noticing a sprightly senior citizen quietly going about her morning shopping. You may not have noticed her, but the world has. She's famous. Una van der Spey, you see, has created a garden so beautiful, so magnificent, that Old Nectar has been included in a book called 1001 Gardens You Must See Before You Die. And it is the only garden to be made a national monument. Not bad for someone who is 99 years old. It's just up the road in the Jonkershoek Valley. There's something intensely visceral about a saddle horse. A horse of such stature evokes ancient memories in humans of close bonds, trust and valor, of aquiline grace, stamina and speed. It comes as no surprise that one of the great stud farms in South Africa mirrors the beauty of its thoroughbred. Cavalli Stud Farm is set amidst some of the most breathtaking scenery in South Africa and matches its surroundings without taking a single step back. It's imbued with refined sophistication, and the combination of superb gardens and noble horse life makes Cavalli a premier South African attraction and a very precious heritage. Saddle up, you have to see it to believe it. Joburgers sometimes get an unfair rap. They're accused of being too busy to notice what's going on around them. Now, if you're brave enough to tell them that to their faces, they'll quickly tell you where to get off. They'll tell you that they have created the largest man-made forest in the world with over 10 million trees, and that if someone messes with their parks and gardens, they'll get it in the eye in true Johannesburg style. They'll tell you that the gardens which they've built are the focal point in their fast-paced city and are as precious to them as their own hectic lives. Because Joburg is so built up, they use these gardens more than any other city in the country to relax, reinvigorate, hold huge concerts, and have wedding photos shot in. The biggest, the most famous in Johannesburg, is the Walter Sisulu Botanical Garden, and it has more surprises in it than you can imagine. I don't know a single person who doesn't look forward to coming to the Stellenbosch winelands. Of course, the superb wines may have more than a little to do with it, but there's a sense of tranquility, brightness and freshness here that is absolutely unique in Southern Africa. The people here seem to instinctively know that they have to up their game when they create a garden, since anything less than perfection would spoil the whole valley. It would let the side down, if you know what I mean, nature's side. I've been lucky enough to contribute in a small manner to the renown of the valley at the place called Dallaire. Of course, they couldn't leave it there, and so they created one of the most exclusive and beautiful spas in the entire world around the gardens, and I'd love to share it with you. Grof Lodge and Spa, Dallaire. Permaculture is an organic, environmentally friendly and inexpensive form of food production and sustainable resource use and management. In conjunction with Food and Trees for Africa, the Swartkop Valley Permaculture Project members have effectively integrated these technologies into the school curriculum. Learners are also encouraged to start their own food gardens at home to boost household food security. If there's a name that sums up the Cape experience, then that name must be Vergelegen. It evokes everything that is the Cape. It is the quintessential Cape experience, and it doesn't need to assume a history because it is history. Heer van der Stel founded it in 1685, and he'd be quite proud and grateful, I think, to see that this exquisite estate has been nurtured and loved to this day, and that his oak tree is still here. It should be. It's the oldest oak in the whole country. I love this place. The more I visit these wonderful places and meet the wonderful people who are these gardens, the more I'm grateful that I live in South Africa. I've seen a lot of the world, and it is beautiful, but you must forgive me if I sound biased. Dorothy was right. There's no place like home. Nothing matches what we have here. And for as long as there are gardens like we've just seen and people like we've just met, I'm not stopping. I can't. I'll continue traveling through the growing country. I hope you'll come with me.